We've seen the condolence motions in the Parliament for the fire victims. We'll get to those a bit later this hour with a report on that. But one of the things the Prime Minister's done today, Andrew, is provide more detail on the Royal Commission, and you've got some more information in terms of the terms of reference. Yeah,
Mark Binskin's the former head of the Defence Force from 2014 to 2018 will head it. Very unusual, not a judge, not a lawyer, former pilot, and former head of the Air Force as well. What I know is that it's going to look, as the Prime Minister said, it has a reduction on infrastructure, rebuilding it and making sure that they build better. Climate change is in there, but it's not a key thing. I think it's more about climate resilience. But he wants to tick off from the states. Let's see if there's any debate or whether the states want more included. That will be very interesting indeed. And of course, the important one from Morrison's point of view, Commonwealth state responsibilities. He really wants to expand that power so he can move the Defence Force in. Well, we've got a Chief of Defence Force doing this review. Surely they'll be finding that Defence should have a greater role in these disasters.
And Andrew, in terms of the climate reference, it's interesting you touched on that as far as the terms of reference goes for the Royal Commission, because obviously there'd be some states who want a greater focus on that. They might be pushing for that as part of their own agreement to the Royal Commission, and we saw the internal division within the Liberal Party and the Coalition on display within their party room meeting today, according to your report. Yes. A bit earlier this afternoon.
Yes, Prime Minister Scott Morrison said we all need to stick together. Now, that was his opening message. He left to go visit relatives of the bushfire victims. Sure enough, halfway through him leaving, there's this huge fight. So, there are a couple actually. Liberal Party room, Andrew Laming slapped down the climate change deniers. One of those was Jim Molan on Q&A last night. He says this has got to stop people saying these sorts of things, Andrew Laming. Let's have a look at Jim Molan from last night.
As to whether it is human-induced climate change, my mind is open. Michael might say that the science is settled, and I very much respect scientific opinion, but every day across my desk comes enough information for me to say that there are other opinions.
What is the evidence that you are relying on?
I'm not relying on evidence, Hamish. I am saying...
Andrew Laming was saying, believe the scientists and go with the target we've set. We are actually acting in this area. A real shot at Molan there. Then in the Coalition Party room, you had a situation where George Christensen said we need a coal-fired power station. 5 Queensland seats depend on it. Barnaby Joyce and David Gillespie says climate change isn't hitting our seats. Trent Zimmerman and others, Tim Wilson, Katie Allen said, well, it's hitting ours. And it was just kind of an unseemly battle there.
Well, Katie Allen in the seat of Higgins, East Melbourne, near Kooyong, Josh Frydenberg. This is a party which continues to be very much divided and not sticking together, as the Prime Minister had urged earlier in the discussions.
This is the #1 item of division in the government. The reason Scott Morrison is plotting the middle course, even slightly out to the right on it, is because he can't afford to move, otherwise the whole show will blow up, as was evidenced today.